Chag Sameach. Hi, everybody. So whoever doesn't know me, my name is Shimon Smith. I'm the Cantor and music director at Romamu Manhattan. That our new offices are here at JTS. Our services are still at the church on 105, at our Shul Church on 105 in Amsterdam. It's great to have all of you here, and some of you on Zoom, and future people watching this also. So, hi, future. Yeah, I'm really, really, really happy that we made this event because I guess traditionally or normally, Romu hasn't had an Erev Sukkot event, and even last year, last year Erev Sukkot I was in like it feels like it was 6-7 years ago, but it was last year. And last year in Sukkot, I remember I brought an Israeli, just an Israeli music. So we had like an Israeli music event, and that was really, really fun event. And I'm really happy that today I'm here with one of my mentors and friends, who I look back to see when we wrote each other for the first time, because I wrote you, because I was a fan in 2018, still am. But in 2018, I wrote Rabbi Dalia for the first time, and I said, she was one of the two editors of the new Israeli Reform Siddur, and I lived in Israel until 2.5 years ago, and I was doing music. That was my career, with the Reform movement in Israel, and I was so excited because Rabbi Marx was working on this new on a new Siddur, and so I texted you and I said, hey, I saw one of the new songs in the Siddur, and I composed a song from your Siddur. She was like, oh, this is great, that's how that text went back and forth, and ever since we've been in touch, one of the things that I remember that you were so generous about was there was this time during COVID that I was like, what am I going to do? It's COVID. I'm going to do a podcast that I'm going to talk about the Parsha of the week in Hebrew, and it's going to be great. And Dalia did the first one with me. We talked about Bereshit. That was the first one. And then eventually I got to study with Rabbi Marx a little bit at HUC before I came to the States, and the rest is history. And she released this amazing book that I have the only one here that's in Hebrew, I think. I have the one that's in Hebrew. This is the original, Bazman. And I remember when this came out, this was in all of the the Stimatskis and the Tzomit Sfarims in Israel. And I'm so happy to hear that now it's been released in English. And just before we begin, because we're going to talk about Maagal HaShana, like the cycle of the year, and we're going to do some songs. Before, I just want to read one quick thing about Rabbi Marx, because a lot in this book is just that one things that she's writing. But the forward has some info about her.
By Rabbi Ellenson.
By Rabbi Ellenson.
It's one of the last things
One of the last things he wrote before he passed away. So he writes that Rabbi Marx is currently the Rabbi R&D Penkin Professor of Midrash and Liturgy at HUC-JAR in Jerusalem. Prolific author and lecturer who writes and speaks in Hebrew, English, German, and Spanish. She is the chief editor of Tfilat HaAdam, Israeli Reform Prayer Book, the official Siddur of the Israeli Reform Judaism. So happy they changed that. Never mind. And her fame is now pronounced in both Israel and throughout the world. And her authorship of From Time to Time will only enhance that fame. So I'd like to present Rabbi Dalia Marx, or Professor Dalia Marx.
That's way too generous, but thank you very much, Cantor. So Cantor, Shimon, and I, we go quite a while back. I think we did things together, and Shimon was always happy and willing and hardworking and always game to do things. I told him let's translate, let's make music for this, let's make music for that, and you were like, yeah, I'm on it, and 2 hours later you get the. So that's a lot of fun to be with you. Thank you so much for this invitation, and Eden for the invitation to Romemu. It's wonderful to be with you. We are a small crowd, but of very, very dear people, of rabbis, student rabbis, of Sister Mary from neighboring institution from the Union Seminary in Barbara, and with all of you. So we are a very, very small crowd, but we are here to celebrate Zman Simchatenu, the time of our joy, because our tradition says that Sukkot is the Chag, and that's the time of our joy. And obviously, this year, we cannot talk about joy that is complete or detached from everything that we are experiencing. And it's just, I keep thinking about it as dreading to approach Sukkot, honestly speaking, because that was the last festival that we celebrated before the world turned upside down on us. Actually, I was in New York, and Rabbi Danny and Rabbi Elise and I, we met in a rally in Times Square, and a few hours before, Mary and I were having tea together. Little did we know. So may it be so that we will return swiftly and quickly to, how did you say, may the world be centered again?
That works.
And may we return to a situation of tikkun and healing. We chose a song per month for you. My book is divided according to the Hebrew months. In every month you have the song of the month, the prayer of the month, the kavanah of the month, and some short iyuni, which are shorter liberation that have to do with the specific events of the month. We try to be as inclusive as possible. That is to say, European and Western voices, but also Mizrahi and Sephardic voices, and voices of all Jewish ethnicities, ancient and new, all denomination. Of course, it doesn't mean that everything goes. We did not include racist or sexist voices. And we did make a point to include many women voices, because as you know, our classical books did not have a lot of women voices. So I felt that this is a tikkun that we need to do. So let us begin. Let the year cycle in 60 minutes begin.
We thought, just like a Seder Passover, we'll have a little Kaddish Chatz on page 1 that we'll repeat throughout this time together. Let's start it. Kaddish, just kidding, here we go. ותשרי נתנה דקל פרישה חום נחמד בחשוון ירד יורה ועל גגי רקד בכסלו נרקיס הופיע בטבת ברד ובשבט חמה הפציעה ליום אחד באדר על הניחוח מן הפרדסים בניסן ובכוח כל החרמשים באייר הכל צמח ובסיוון הבחין בתמוז ואב שמחנו אחר קציר תשרי חשוון כסלו טבת חלפו ביעף גם שבט אדר ניסן אייר סיוון תמוז ואב ובבוא אלול אלינו ריח סתיו עלה והתחלנו את שירנו מההתחלה בתשרי.
So what is our song for Tishrei?
That's great.
Okay.
Okay.
שיר תשרי, A Song of Tishrei by רחל שפירא. Page 2, right? Yeah, page 2. השמיים משתנים לעיני החקלאים, השכנים מתכוננים לימים הנוראים. מישהו חושב עליך ורושם את מעשיך, בוא הביתה במהרה עם הרוח הקרירה. בוא הביתה במהרה עם הרוח הקרירה. מנדרינות מבשילות בפרדס במועדון, המורות משתעלות והולכות לרשום מוקדם. זה היה במועדן, סליחה. כבר הייתי נח לי אלי, ואולי זה רק נדמה לי, עוד 50 נשבר אתמול, תם החופש הגדול. עוד 50 נשבר אתמול, תם החופש הגדול. ניי, 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 ניי. Yeah, ניי, 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 ניי. Welcome to Roman Move. ניי, 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 ניי. Yeah, ניי, 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 ניי. Yeah, ניי, 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 ניי. Yeah, ניי, 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 ניי. Na 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 na. Ya na 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 na. Ya na 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 na.
Wow, I love this song. We're working out. Shimon explained that I was part of the new Israeli Siddur. We have here.
Just gonna make you louder.
Oh, okay. We have here present Rabbi Frischman, who is the chief editor of the American Reform Siddur, Mishkan Tfilah. And now we're working on a machzor for high holidays, and of course, Shir Tishrei, the song that we sang, is part of it. For me, it's a beautiful modern prayer, and I love it very much. So we were thinking about a word or a concept for each month. The concept that we have for Tishrei is Hatchala, beginning or beginnings, because there are so many beginnings on the month of Tishrei. Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, that probably was the end of the agricultural year and the beginning of the new one. So many beginnings that we tend to forget that it was not a beginning at all in ancient Israel. On the contrary, it was the 7th month, because the Jewish year began in what we call today Nisan, right? Remember the names of the month that we use today, the song of the Kadesh Urchat that we have, was not known to the scholars of the Torah, right? They came back with the Jews who returned from Babylon. And there are Babylonian names, and some of them have serious pagan meaning. But our ancestors didn't care. They said, we're going to use the name, and we're going to decide what it is for us. Remember it when we get to Elul, because we're going to say something about it when we get to Elul.
בתשרי נתנה דקל פרישה חום נחמד בחשוון. Oh, it works. It works. Yeah, okay. Page 3.
This song, Shayna, this is for you because it was composed right after the 1973 war. Yeah, has to do with
גשם בעיתו, כמה עצב בעיתו, הכל עצר, הכל עמד, רק הגשם בא לו בזמן. לא, לא אכפת, שבלילות שם קר מאוד, שבחולות קשה לבכות, שאין על מי להתרפק, שבחוץ הגשם דופק. תן מחומך ותן מאורך, תן לשדות רק גשם ברכה, תן מביתך ביד רחבה, ותן לנו זמן לאהבה. תן מחומך ותן מאורך, תן לשדות רק גשם ברכה, תן מביתך ביד רחבה, ותן לנו זמן לאהבה.
Song that brings many memories of that war that back in the day we thought was the most terrible that we could experience. The concept I chose for Cheshvan, or as we should call it Mar Cheshvan, is diversity. And the reason is that on Cheshvan there are not too many festivals and holidays and special days, unlike Tishrei that is so packed. But there is a special, strange voice I get, no? Or that's okay. But there is a special Chag on this month, and this is the Chag that is called Sigd. It's not Hebrew, it's not Aramaic. It is the Ethiopian language of the Ge'ez. That's a festival that Jews of Ethiopia brought with them when they came to Israel. We didn't know it back then, and now it has become a very important festival for many of us. What is the Sigd? It is a celebration that is celebrated exactly 50 days after Yom Kippur. So if Yom Kippur is a personal day of atonement, and forgiveness, and soul searching, then the Sigd is a communal one. And it was also called the Day of the Covenant, where the Jews of Ethiopia renewed their covenant with the Jewish people and yearned for Jerusalem. You know, they didn't think so much about Zion or Israel, they thought about Jerusalem. Jerusalem was a very, very important concept for the Ethiopian Jews. We call them Beit Israel, the house of Israel. That's how they refer to themselves, so that's how I will refer to them too. And it is very interesting now that they celebrate this festivity, and we celebrate it with them in Jerusalem. So the celebration that used to be a yearning and longing to Jerusalem is celebrated in Jerusalem. And it is a very interesting question. Do they feel at home or not? The Beit Israel Jews were not always very nicely welcomed in Israel, and I think we need to atone for that. But I think that Mar Cheshvan is a very nice opportunity to remind us of the diversity of the communities that comprises the people of Israel. So that's the concept for me for Mar Cheshvan. Givun, diversity.
בתשרי נתנה דקל פרישה חום נחמד, בחשוון ירד יורה ועל גגי רכה, בכסלו. Page 3, we don't have a song, but we're gonna do a Hanukkah song. I said I would do a song that I felt in the moment. So I'm actually thinking of Nerli Dakik. Should we do Nerli? Nerli, Nerli, Nerli Dakik, בחנוכה נרי ידליק, בחנוכה נרי יאיר, בחנוכה שירים השיר, בחנוכה נרי יאיר, בחנוכה שירים השיר.
Reminds me of kindergarten. Love it so much. So if our Mar Cheshvan word was givun, diversity, and our commitment to have everyone feel at home as Jews, wherever they are, whatever they do, whoever they are in their choices and identities, to be at home, then my word for Kislev is bait, home. Unlike high holidays that take place mostly in the synagogue, in the temple, in the shuls, Hanukkah is a very domestic Chag. It happens in the home. It happens when the family gathers around the menorah and we light candles and we eat, I don't know, we eat sufganiyot. You eat latkes, I guess?
Yep.
No?
It's
You also have sufganiyot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
you'll see in my book there's a debate, what's better, latkes or sufganiyot?
How do you
Or the
compare them?
spinach, right? The Moroccan one. So,
It's
anyway.
like pretzels and peanut
Yeah.
pretzels and
Chocolate.
yeah.
Well,
Potato
very fat, oily,
Right.
sugary. You know.
What could be
That's
better?
what I say.
Right. Those are things that are in common. Right. Yeah.
So I'm thinking about bait when I think about Kislev, and I think I'm thinking about bait, home, this year especially, when so many dozens of thousands of Israelis are not at home. People who cannot be at their homes, both in the south and in the north. And you were talking to the future, the viewers.
Yeah, future,
Maybe what we're saying now will be completely inaccurate.
I hope they don't know what we're talking about.
Exactly. But as it is now, I'm thinking about bait, and I think that all are entitled to have bait, to have safe homes wherever they are, and may it be so. So that's my hope for Kislev, and that's my word for Kislev, bait.
בתשרי נתן הדקל פרישה חום נחמד, בחשוון ירד יורה ואגגי רקד, בכסלו נרקיס סופיה, בטבת יום הולדת. Page 4. אין אור, אין קרן אור, אין אור, אין קרן אור. את כל הכוכבים דמה, את השר עטף בשחור, מצפון ועד תימן, אין קרן אור. כל הכוכבים דמה, את השר עטף בשחור, מצפון ועד תימן, אין קרן אור, אין אור, אין קרן אור, אין אור, אין קרן אור. והבוקר אלמן נאמן, סקפור על מותניו יחגור, מצפון ועד תימן, אין קרן אור, אין אור, אין קרן אור, אין אור, אין קרן אור, אין אור, אין אור, אין קרן אור, אין אור, אין אור, אין קרן אור. הדליק נא נר לבן, ואוהל ליבי השחור, מצפון ועד תימן, יזרח האור. הדליקו נא נר לבן, ואוהל ליבי השחור, מצפון ועד תימן, יזרח האור. האור, האור, יזרח האור, 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 יזרח האור, 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 יזרח האור, 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 יזרח האור.
Beautiful prayer by Leah Goldberg. We also included it in our Siddur. When I think about Tevet, that's the darkest month of the year. The night is the longest, the day is the shortest. So it's very natural to think about Laila. The word for the month is Laila, night. And I would say night in our tradition is sometimes a phase, a liminal phase in which we wait for the sun to rise again. It's a moment in time, not a moment, it's a time where we express our faith that even when there is no light, we believe that the light will shine. And I think Leah Goldberg expresses it in a very, very beautiful way in her poem. Yeah, please light a white candle in my heart's black tent, from north to Yemen to in the south, the light will shine. I just want to remind us of a festival that we have in the Tunisian community. It's a women's celebration. It's called Chag HaBanot, the Festival of the Girls, Eid al-Banat. There's a chapter about it in this book. This is the night that is Rosh Chodesh, the new moon of Tevet. You know, the Jewish month begins when the moon is hardly visible. So it really requires a leap of faith to believe that the moon will grow and become full. The women of Tunisia and also other places in North Africa, Morocco, Libya, used to gather on that night, study together, eat together, forgive each other's little grudges, and do things together as women. And I think this is something that is beautiful and almost forgotten because there are very few books, traditional books, that reminds us of these kind of festivities. But we know that women used together and women used to do things together. And I think this is something that we should bring back to our culture, all kinds of gathering of people who want to meet together and to empower everyone in the place where they are. So this is my word for Tevet, Laila. I think darkness is also a very nice time where we can reflect on things and think about things, and we're not distracted by all kinds of things that we see. We can kind of go inside. But it's also the belief that the light will shine. And I do hope, I think especially this year, we all hope that the light will shine, and may it be swiftly.
בתשרי נתנתק על פרישה חום נחמד, בחשוון עד יורה ועל גיא רכה, בכסלו לא כסופיה בטבת ברא, ובשבט.
Fifth month already. Number 5.
Bottom of page 4. פיתחו את השער, פיתחו רחב, עבור תעבור פה שרשרת זהב, אבא, אמא ואבא ואח ואחות, וחתן וכלה במרכבת קלה. פיתחו את השער, פיתחו רחב, עבור תעבור פה שרשרת זהב, עם סבא וסבתא ודוד ודודה, ונכדים ונינים, במרכבת פנינים. פיתחו את השער, פיתחו רחב. I thought we already talked at the shower.
It's an ongoing.
It's ongoing.
You have to
Mm-hmm.
stop
Did you hear that?
and
Liftocht? That was a good. But what has become of me?
Oh.
If there was talk.
So when we think about Shvat, we normally think about Tu B'Shvat, but we decided to think about Yom HaMishpacha, the family day in Israel. This is when we celebrate the families. Originally, it was the Mother's Day on the last day of the month, on the 30th of Shvat, but then it became the family day.
We took that away too.
Yeah, you took that away from us. I mean, we had one day.
I mean, we thought it would be a good idea, but you know.
Hey,
No.
talking about
In the
appropriation.
States, they didn't do that in the States yet.
Right. So for us, we used to have a Mother's Day, not anymore. Now we have a Family Day on the 30th of Shvat. And when the date was decided upon, I think it's very interesting, and it's actually a New York woman, very famous and beloved New York woman who actually, I didn't think about it, studied here, JTS. Henrietta Sold,
Oh,
one of the women who would be rabbis and was not rabbi, but she studied here at the JTS. She was a great scholar whose scholarship was denied. People took credit for her work. And then she made Aliyah to Israel, and she was very active in bringing Jewish children, refugees from Europe. Aliyat Noar, it's called. And she basically saved thousands of lives by doing that. She herself did not have children, biological children, and I think it's so moving that the young state of Israel decided to have the Mother's Day initially on her yahrzeit. Yeah, because she did not have her own children, but she mothered many, many, many children. So I think it teaches us that families can have many shapes and forms, and not necessarily. I enjoy having my children, but I think you can be a parent and you can be parented by people who are not necessarily your biological parents or children. So that's why I chose the concept of mishpacha, family, for the month of Shvat. Now we go to the 6th month on page 5. Adar.
בתשרי נתן הדקל פרישה חום נחמד, בחשוון ירד יורה ועל גגי רקד, בכסלו נרקיס הופיע בטבת ברד, ובשבט חמה הפציע ביום אחד באדר. נכנס אדר. נכנס אדר. נכנס אדר מרבים בשמחה. נכנס אדר מרבים בשמחה. I never sang Misha Misha in a sukkah before, so that's new for me. Yeah.
Well, did you ever do around the year in 60 minutes?
No, I don't.
Yeah, it's the first thing.
No.
Maybe we should say Shechianu
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
It's a Shechianu moment. I think so. So I think it's very clear that for Adar, and also our song indicated it, the concept should be simcha, right? Joy, happiness, merriment. Our tradition tells us, that's what we just said here, that when Adar begins, we increase our joy. And it's not very clear what it's saying. Does it say that that's what happens? That people increase, become happier? Or is it a requirement? Is it a suggestion? What does it mean? שנכנס אדר מרבין בשמחה? How can you force someone to be happy? Can we be forced to be happy? Yeah, we just said that this is man simchatenu, Sukkot. Can we force ourselves to be happy? And here I do think that sometimes I would say yes. Sometimes we kind of can bring ourselves into a state of mind of concentrating on the happy aspects, on the joyous aspects, even if everything around us is difficult. And the song that I chose for the month is Shir Sameach. That's not the song that we sang here. And it says, it was written in one of the also difficult moments of the state of Israel. And it says, גם אם ראשנו שח ועצב סובבנו, הבה ונתמלא מן השמחה שבנו. Even if our head is bowed and there's sadness all around us, let us be filled with the happiness, with the joy that is within us. And I think this is theologically a very strong concept, saying that the joy and the happiness is something that is within us. We just sometimes need a key, we need an access to this joy, and we need to be able to activate it, even if the circumstances are difficult. So the word we chose for Adar is simcha, joy, happiness.
בתשרי נתן הדגל פרישה חום נחמד, בחשוון ירד יורה ועל גגי רקן, בכסלו נרקיס הופיע בטבת ברן, ובשבט חמה הפציע ביום אחד, באדר עלה ניחוח מן הפרדסים בניסן. Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. Blossom of the tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good. Dragonfly out in the sun, you know what I mean, don't you know? Butterflies all having fun, you know what I mean. Yeah. Sleep in peace when the day is done, that's what I mean. Oh, it's a new dawn, it's a new world, and a bold world for me, and I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. Stars when they shine, oh, you know how I feel. Oh, scent of the pine, yeah, you know how I feel. Oh, freedom is mine, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good. Can we all sing it together? I'm feeling good. We gotta make ourselves feel good, like Rabbi Dalia says. We gotta make it. Okay. I'm feeling good. If we sing it, then maybe we can believe it. Yeah, I'm feeling good. One last time, feeling good. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling
Wow,
good.
wow.
Yeah.
And I think feeling good is also giving place
What?
to the brokenness in our life.
This is the one song without an author. So who wrote the song?
It's someone Jewish, right?
No, Anthony Newley.
Oh, okay.
1964. Musical. Was that right? Which they so
Rabbi Friend, it sounds like a gospel to me.
It does.
It's-
jazz.
Bluesy, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Combination. And Nina Simone.
Nina Simone.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Nina Simone. Mhm.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
So, oh, freedom is mine, says the song. And the word of the month is Cheirut. The concept that we chose for the month of Nisan is Cheirut, freedom. And we know that the Israelites left the land of Egypt on the month that we call Nisan. They didn't know the word Nisan, and they embarked their sojourning in the wilderness. It took them 40 years until they got to the promised land. So sometimes it takes some time to be free, right? And feeling good is a good thing while we acknowledge the brokenness and we acknowledge the imperfect situation that we're in. And I think I don't need to elaborate too much why freedom is such an important concept for us, especially now. So, freedom is mine, freedom is ours. May freedom be for all who were created in the image of God.
I take it for granted, right? בתשרי נתן הדגל פרישה חום נחמד, בחשוון ירד יורה ועל גגי רקד, בכסלו לא כסופיה בטבת פרד, ובשבט חמה הפציעה ליום אחד, ואדר הניחוח מן הפרדסים, בניסן ובכוח כל החרמשים, באייר.
We're actually going to sing it.
Are we going to sing it?
Are we going to?
Let's save it. Let's save it for the end.
All right, so we're not going to sing it, but we're going to talk about
We'll
it?
talk about it.
Okay. So Hatikva was written by Naftali Hertz Imber, a young, bohemian, poor guy who's actually buried in New York in an unmarked grave.
Really?
Yeah. But for a few years he lived in Israel. He was a poet. He wrote a song called Tikvatenu, Our Hope. And he went from one village to the next, and for a hot meal, he would sing it to the people. And every day, every place, he would change the lyrics a little bit. So in, I don't know, in Rishon LeZion, they knew these words, and in Zichron Yaakov, they knew it slightly different, and Nes Ziona, they knew it a little bit different. Later on, this song became not Hatikvatenu, that had 10 stanzas. It became exactly Hatikva, which is the Israeli national anthem. There is a whole chapter about the story in of this book, of this song. By the way, it was the finalist of the choices of what shall be the Israeli anthem. We're going to meet another one quite in a few minutes.
Back on show?
No. Not a Galshan. But look at the words that he's saying. Od lo avda tikvatenu, our hope is not yet lost, says Naftali Hertz Imber. And he is revising and changing the words of the prophet Ezekiel in the prophecy of the dry bones, when the people say, avda tikvatenu, our hope is lost. And he says, Od lo avda tikvatenu, our hope is not lost. Yeah? We are still hopeful. We're not giving up on hope. So of course the word of the month is tikva, hope, because we're not going to give up on tikva. We're not giving up on it.
Our Rabbi David Ingbert's Rosh Hashanah sermon was all about the word od, and he was talking about od lo.
And Inver and the whole his history and
Inver.
Oh my God.
I'll send you
Not Inber.
Kivanti לדעת
Ingber.
גדולים.
Yeah.
He had a big sign on it. Not Inber, Ingber.
No, other way
The
around.
other
Not
way
Inver.
around.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Didn't know it, but
Yeah.
very much
Very
important.
beautiful.
So Sivan, month number, what is it? 9, right? Page 6.
Yeah, they should count. We can count together. בתשרי נתן הדקל פרישה חום נחמד, בחשוון ירד יורה ועל גגי רקד, בכסלו כסופיה בטבת פרד, ובשבט חמה המציאה ליום אחד, ואדר על הניחוח מן הפרדסים, בניסן ובכוח כל החרמשים, באייר הכל צמח ובסיוון. סלינו על כתפינו, ראשינו עטורים, מקצות הארץ בנו הבאנו ביקורים. מיהודה ועד שומרון, מן העמק הגליל, אנו ביקורים איתנו, אך בטוב חלל וחליל, אך בטוב חלל וחליל. נעשה עוד אחד? Let's do the last one. מה טוב ומגלנו. מה טוב ומגלנו. מן הנגב הירדן, בדרך כלל, גילים איתה אך בטוב חלל וחליל, אך בטוב חלל וחליל.
That's right. So this is a children's song talking about the pilgrimage mitzvah, the commandment that we find in the Bible, in the Torah, that everyone should come to the place that God chooses, and we later understood it as Jerusalem, to the holy temple and bring offerings and sacrifices, and in this case, bikurim, the first fruit.
I'm going to bring an offering just now.
Oh, yeah. Oh. Bring an offering. So, and Levin Kipnis, who was a children's poet, he sort of revised it. He said, it doesn't talk about coming from everywhere to Jerusalem. He's talking about where people came from. That's his stress. Not so much about coming to Jerusalem, but celebrating the Chag in every place you are. So the word of the month for me is chinuch, education. And the celebration that we celebrate on Sivan is Shavuot, which is a special Chag, I think. If we say about so many festivals and fast days, they tried to kill us, they didn't, let's eat.
Yes.
Or the more tragic version is they tried to kill us, they did, let's fast. So on Shavuot, nobody tried to kill us. It's all about celebration of life and light and reception of the Torah. It's something that is very, very positive and promising. And that's what we have when we have good education. Jews knew all along that education is the key for everything. Unfortunately, until not so long ago, it was just for male children. Serious education for girls started in West Europe somewhere in the 18th century, in East Europe in the 19th century, and in the Middle East and North Africa, even in the middle of the 20th century, almost half of the women were illiterate. And that, I would say, a shame for a people, the people of the book, right? Am HaSefer, that's how they call us. Men were so literate, unlike any other culture probably, but women. So I think that's one of the privileges that we merit to live in our time, when women can learn, can study, can become clergy, and can do so many things in our people. I don't take it for granted. I want to celebrate chinuch. I want to celebrate education for all genders, for everyone who wants to be and needs to be educated, and everybody needs to be educated.
Get coffee?
No.
אוקיי. בתשרי נתן הדקל ברישה חום נחמד, וחשוון ירד יורה על גגי רקד, וכסלו נכנס סופיה בטבת פרד, ובשבט חמה הציע ליום אחד, ואדר לה ניחוח מן הפרדסים, בניסן ובכוח כל אחר משיב, באייר הכל שמח ובצבעה נבחין ותמוז. יום בעיר ששמש אין שום עננים, אני וכל החבר'ה אל הים נוסעים, לקחנו את האוטו, הבנות כבר שם, כשלחוף נגיע נוציא את הגשם, שוב אנחנו מתגרשים, רוכבים על הגלים, עיר בעוד גדול, זהירות רק לא ליפול, מחוף בת ים הרצליה, זה רק אני והגלשן שלי. שוב אנחנו מתגרשים, רוכבים על הגלים, עיר בעוד גדול, זהירות רק לא לגשם, רחוב בת ים הרצליה, זה רק אני והגלשן שלי, זה רק אני משל שלי.
How do you say Gavshani in English actually?
Surfboard.
Surfboard. Let's surfboard.
Surfboard.
That's a very profound Jewish concept. But actually, we chose the concept we chose for Tammuz is hafsaka, taking a break, hafsaka, right? Because the month of Tammuz falls in the middle of the summer. That's where the kids have their summer break, and we think about it. We don't always cherish enough the importance and the merit of taking a break. And I think we don't really do that a lot now that we have all our screens and our phones, and we don't take a moment. We always do something. That's the great invention of Shabbat, to sort of stop for a moment and not do everything, to have a hafsaka. And I want to promote hafsaka. I want to promote batala, not doing anything, being, what's the word? Idle?
Ideal.
Idle.
Idle is good.
Idle.
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 To be
Right,
idle.
not ideal, idle. You have to be
To be
idle.
still.
Not to
To be
worship an
still.
idol. Not to be idle.
No. But to sit, to contemplate, to reflect, to meditate, to be a little bit, not always in the doing mode. We're so much, I'm the last one to. We're in the doing mode, and I think this is one of the wishes that I want for me this year, to take hafsaka here and there, to be able to really make a break, not to check my emails and my WhatsApps and to really be able to take hafsaka here and there. So the word for Tammuz is hafsaka.
Nice.
בתשרי ותנדק אל פרישה חום נחמד, בחשוון ירד יורה מעל גגי רכה, בכסלו נטוסות בטבת ברד, ובשבט חמה המציאה ליום אחד, באדר לניחות מן הפרדסים, כל החרמשים, ויער כל צמח וסיבה נבחיר, בתמוז ואב.
So the concept of Av, or Menachem Av, as we sometimes refer to this month, is for me Ahava, love. It's a bit maybe not so obvious choice, because on Av we commemorate the destruction of the temple, both temples, and other horrific events that our people suffered. This is probably the saddest day in the Jewish cycle, right? The 9th of Av. But it's also about love. It's about mourning something that we love and we lost, and our commitment to proceed and to create again, maybe not a temple. I don't want to build a third temple. But many places of worship in which everyone can worship according to their need and desire and style and temperament and everything. But Av is also the Jewish Valentine Day, right? The 15th of Av, when the moon is full and people go out dancing in the
fields and the
vineyards.
Oh yeah.
And that was the great single party that there was. People met each other, and so that's the 15th of Av, and that's it's all about love. It's all about love, and there are all kinds of love. In this case, it's a love between spouses or between lovers, but there are all kinds of love. So our word for the month of Av is Ahava, right? And we only have one more month.
We didn't do the song though yet.
We did not do the song. I spoke before the.
That's okay.
I broke the rule.
No, it was all planned. It was planned.
Of course.
שוב אדוני את שביתנו, כאפיקים בנגב הזוהים בדימה ברינה יקצורו שיר המעלות בשוב אדוני את שיבת ציון היינו כחולמים אז ימלא שיחות פינו ולשוננו רינה הלוך ילך ובכו נושא משך הזר בו יבוא ורינה נושא אלומותיו שיר המעלות בשוב אדוני שיבת ציון היינו כחולמים אז ימלא שיחות פינו ולשוננו רינה ולשוננו רינה.
I didn't know this music. Beautiful. Joy Weisenberg. Wonderful. So that's the almost finalist for it was one of the options to be the anthem of the state of Israel. Shir Ma'alot. Yeah. But as you know, it was not chosen. But nevertheless, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Is that because there's too much God?
Probably for the young state of Israel.
Which
Probably that was
Which
the
God
case.
language?
Yeah.
King David's mad about that until today.
He wanted to cry.
Well, ניגון אלול. בתשרי נתן הדקל ושחום נחמד בחשוון ירד יורה ועל גגי רקד בכסלו מרגיש סופיה בטבת ברד ובשבט חמה הפציעה ליום אחד והדר עליו ניחוח מן הפרדסים בניסן ובכוח כל אחר משיב באייר כל צמח ובסיוון הבחין בתמוז לב שמחנו אחר קציר ובבוא אלול אלינו ריח סתיו עלה והתחלנו את שירנו מההתחלה.
So the concept for Elul is tikkun. It is a word that is very hard to translate to English. How would you translate tikkun?
To fix, to better.
To
right?
fix,
Well,
to make
yeah.
better,
Is that the
to mend, to mend,
It's a
reform,
mend.
to reform.
Oh,
It's a whole different idea.
Oh my God!
wow.
Taking something broken and making it the way it was, but reforming something.
All right.
Experiencing something
Modifying it. Yeah. Yes.
I have never heard
Renew.
it before. I like it so much. It's from?
It's from the Bas of Noimina Yar, from Mishnah.
Hey, beautiful, wonderful. I didn't think about it this way, but now I cannot not see it. It's one of these things. So this is the concept for Elul Tikkun, because that's one of the really profound things Judaism comes to teach us, that even if we did something wrong, even if we kilkalnu, if we broke something, there's always a chance to do tikkun. There's always a chance to mend, to repair, to transform, to reform, to make things better. And that's the great message that we have every year, all years, but I would say especially this year. Tikkun is possible, and therefore tikkun is mandatory. We have to do tikkun.
So I'm thinking that we sing a tikva.
We are?
And then, let's sing a tikva. And then we can eat. And then maybe people have questions. David, what do you think? Yeah. Sound good?
Yeah.
All right. So should we stand do the tikva and the sukkah for the first time? We'll start with Shechianu maybe?
Yeah.
All right.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
Toda Shimon, Toda Eden, Toda
Thank you. Wonderful. Wonderful.
And if to buy future people and if people want to buy the book.
So if you want to buy the book, I'm just gonna take your name if you take a copy, and then I'm gonna email you to pay.
Okay.
And then So let's eat.
And there's some food here.
Yeah.
So great.
That was great. That was really great. You just think.
Yeah, I know. Okay, I'm glad I wasn't the only one. I was like, oh no, they have the wrong national anthem. Okay. Oh, it's so good.